In this video, I'm going to show you how to make you money, and I'm going to show you how to do this so you can make money online. Don't know what that means? It basically means you make enough money where you can do whatever you want, really. Your boss gives you problems, you want to quit your job, tell your boss, you, whatever. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can make you money. Now, I've been working online for the last kind of like 15 years, and this is an award where, so if I've actually been through this process and I've made money online. I've multiple of these awards. So everything in this video, I've actually gone through and done, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what you need to do. And not only that, I'm going to show you this method right now that I'm going to be showing you. There's tax advantages to this, and I'm going to explain to you how you can do this and how you can actually get tax advantages doing this specific method. So if we go to a website called flippa.com, we go to this website, and let's just go to SaaS companies for sale. So SaaS products. Basically, what that means is software as a service. And we scroll down, and some of these are selling for like 5 mil, 10, 900K, 100K, 21K, whatever. But if you want to make a few money, we need to be selling our stuff for a massive amount of profit. Now, if we actually look at here, we go to the highest price here. 10 is the highest at the moment. I've seen companies on here for way more than this. At the moment, it's only about 10, but that's just for SaaS companies. There could be more on here that are actually higher, like we've got things like e-commerce, websites. So if we go to websites, and we'll have a look at this one as well, maybe there are some higher ones here. It really just depends. A lot of the highest ones are actually, so 36, that's crazy. So 36, 20. Most of the highest ones over this go through private brokers. But let me break down exactly how you can get to this point and actually build something like this stuff that you can actually sell for a profit online. And you can do this multiple times. It's much easier to do this type of stuff with AI now. And I'll explain to you tax advantages and things like that, especially in my country. Now, keep in mind, every single country's got different tax systems. So you might have this might not work for you, the tax side of it. So let me explain. The first thing you want to do, right, is very simple. You want to think of an idea that you can actually create. So it could be an app, a website, or something like that. Now, you can actually go to flippa.com or try and find one and put it on the screen. You can buy a cheap AI business or website for like a couple $1,000s, or you could go ahead and start an app with AI. Like, for example, there's this thing called Wrapper apps now, where basically you make an app. I don't know, there's one called Cal AI or something like that, where you take a photo of food and then they use ChatGPT as the actual API key for that. And it's actually ChatGPT doing all the work, but it's just wrapped in an app that somebody's created with the software and stuff like that. And they're very simple to make. But the thing here is not making the product, it's how you actually get traffic to that product. You turn that traffic into profit, and then you get it to a point where you can actually sell that product for a lot of whatever, right? Money. So let me explain to you exactly how to do this from beginning to end. And the reason why I know this works, I've done this as well. So the first thing is you need a product, right? So this square box is going to be your product. This could be an app, a website. I don't have my pen, so I'm just using my fingers. App, a website, or something like that. And what we need to do is we need to funnel traffic into this app. More importantly, we need to turn this into monthly recurring money, profits. And then we also need to build the value of this as much as we can, because the value is what's going to sell this product for quite a lot of, going to sell this product for you. So there's two things we need to focus on with your app, and most apps are going to be monthly recurring income because that's how you build those apps up. So the best part about now, 2006 or whatever, and 2005 that we've just come out of, it's really simple now to, first of all, send traffic to a product, service, or a system, and predictably. And what that means is we know 6 months down the track how much a person's worth to us, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll explain to you what I mean. We have an app right here that, let's just say, is some sort of AI app or something like that, right? There's tons of ideas you got. We send things, now I primarily use Facebook traffic and Google ads. Now Facebook is the same as Instagram, same company. So Facebook, Instagram ads, and then Google ads. So we'll just say Meta ads for Facebook and Instagram. And then what we do is we want to get people from those platforms by paying and get them to our app. Now, one of the biggest questions I get, or I would say complaints when I do these types of videos is, well, hang on, I don't have any money to get these apps to a large income, like, a large value and stuff like that. You don't need to, you can start with nothing. So what you do is you basically start small, and you might spend $500 on ads or $100 or whatever, and then you just start slow, and then every bit of profit you make, you put back into your advertising, and you just scale and you scale. Now, I'm not going to say profit, I'm going to say revenue, because you're not going to be profitable. You want to get all of that revenue, and you want to put it back into the advertising. So if you put 500 in and you make back 500, you put that 500 back in, you keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and you keep doing that, and you keep scaling it up and up and up. That's what you do. Now, it's always going to be very slow at the start, if that's what you're doing, because you might not have tons of money to dump into it. But this is the beauty of all of this. Once you sell your first app for a bunch of money, you then have a lot of money to then do this again. You replicate it, you do it again, you do it a few times. That's when you get your money, right? So basically, that's what you do. Now, the only way to do this properly is to do advertising. It's the fastest way to get traffic. You can get targeted traffic. It becomes predictable traffic. So let's talk about predictability. So let's say we have a time frame of 1 year here. This line is 1 year. I've talked about this before in other videos. If you're one of my subscribers, you probably know what I'm about to say. So let's just say we're selling our thing for like $30 a month. We'll say $5. We'll just say, I don't know, we'll just say $150 a month. It's not going to be spot on accurate, but let's say in 6 months, someone is worth around about $150 to us, okay? Now, if we spent $100 to acquire that customer, back here at the beginning, we have made a 50% profit by week 6, okay? Month 6. Even if we spent $150 to get a customer at $150 at 6 months, you might not be profitable, but you're still making revenue. So you're still building that specific app up, getting customers, etc. But the most important thing is to know your customer value at around about the 6 month time frame. It could be earlier, later, whatever you want, but around about the 6 month time frame. So let's just say you're making 50% profits. We know that we can now spam ads. No, I don't mean spam ads like spammy ads. I just mean spam money into ads to crank it way up. Crank it up as far as we can get it, as far as we can go. We know that we can do that. Now, keep in mind, guys, this video is not a tutorial on how to do Facebook ads, Meta ads, how to do Google ads, how to build an app. It's about the structure and what you need to do to make a bunch of money online. So that's the basic structure right there. You build an app, you use Meta ads, you use Google ads, you can use Reddit ads, you can use any type of social media ads, TikTok ads, etc. You can do retargeting. You can really get into the nitty-gritty here, and you can build this app up. So now what do you do when you get to the point where this app is making a considerable amount of money, yearly, monthly, whatever, and it's valued quite high? You want to actually sell this thing here. So first of all, there's a few advantages to actually doing that. But what I want to do is I want to first talk about some advantages I have in my country. Now, this might not work the same for you guys, because in my country, exporters get a massive advantage, and I'm classed as an exporter if I make US. So in my country, if I sell a product to a US company, or I got an app that makes US dollars, I get a few perks. I get what's called GST exempt. So what that means is GST exempt is goods and services taxes in my country, which is 15%, which means that any US dollars I get, I don't pay GST on that, but I can still claim back GST in my country, which means that let's say I make $10,000, there is no GST on that, so I get the $10,000, but if I, let's say, spent $10,000 in my country, I can claim back GST on that. It's a tax incentive for me as an exporter, because I'm a digital product creator, sell digital products, I'm classed as an exporter of those digital products. I get GST exempt. The next thing is we have no CGT, capital gains tax in my country. So I can go ahead and sell that software and pay no tax on the profits of that sale. So that's a really good one as well. Those are some of the tax advantages that I have. Now I want to talk about some tax advantages. Now I'm not a tax expert by all means, this is just my experience. So I'm not an accountant, but I have an accountant, a very good one. So the next thing I kind of want to go over is why would someone want to buy your product, your app? So we go to this website here, flippa.com. They have thousands of websites for sale, thousands of apps for sale, etc. Why would people want to buy your app? So there's a few. So I've done a few deals, I've done a few deals. So the big deals, the like really big bad boy deals up to the like multiple hundreds of millions and things like that, those get done through private brokers. And the people buying those apps are massive companies. And the reason why they do that is for one thing, they have a bunch of cash. They simply want to offload that cash and buy online assets, which is going to be your app. They usually don't care what they pay because they just don't care. It's very simple. They get tax advantages, tax breaks, whatever, to buy products. They want to get rid of cash. That's it. So those are the real massive big deals. And the only people who are going to be buying your apps at those big prices are going to be those types of companies. Or it could be companies like your competitors or companies that already have similar apps or they have a massive portfolio of apps already. But there's really only a few companies in the world through private brokers that are buying up all these apps, okay? But the thing here is that they've got money, they're cashed up, they want to put money into apps. Your app is there, ready to purchase. But they get tax advantages. They get tax, the more they spend their profit, the less tax they pay when it comes to tax time, okay? And what they're doing is they're building out a massive portfolio of apps where it's kind of like, for example, like if you have a property portfolio, you want to have as many properties as you want to get rent back, etc., and whatever. Now, there is another thing here that I don't really get involved in myself, but people do this, companies do this. It's called leverage buyouts. And what that basically means, I'll just do a quick one for you, is a company will go to the bank. I don't get involved in these. Well, I don't know, maybe some of these companies do it when they buy my apps, but I don't know. So a company, we'll just have a box here. A company will go to the bank. They will say, we want a bunch of money. Let's just say they want $1 million to buy your app. The bank will lend the company that money, and the bank will then use your app as collateral, which means that if the company that purchases your app can't pay the bank back through what is called leverage buyout, LBO, what then happens is the bank's going to come in and they're going to now take that app, okay? But that doesn't happen because, in most cases. Now, the reason why these companies do that is because when they get the money from the bank, there's no tax on that. If they want $1 million from them, they get $1 million from the bank, and then they can go ahead and build your app up. Usually what they'll do is they'll then build your app up even bigger, and then they will actually sell that app. They will pay the $1 million back to the bank or whatever's left, 800,000, 700,000. They'll pay that back to the bank and they will keep the profit. So that's another thing that people do, tax advantages, etc., and all that sort of stuff. They're called LBOs, leverage buyouts. So that's another way that you can actually do it. So hopefully I've explained to you how you can make a bunch of money and specifically make money online, because this is making money online. And it basically is building up an app. If you want to do an easy way to do it, is basically building up an app, selling that app, using traffic from Facebook advertising, Google advertising, Reddit advertising, because it's predictable. Figure out your customer value, basically wherever that falls. So if you're spending, say, $100 per customer, figure out at what month do you get that $100 back. And then from anywhere from that month on is all profit to you for that customer. Now, there's churn rates and things like that, which means that the amount of people that stop paying, etc. But it's like an average. So it's an average of what people are worth to you at a specific amount of time. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know below. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.